Hey Toy, you know
Hey,
how we just had this big conversation about AI stuff?
yeah,
What if I recorded it and made it into a podcast?
we could. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
we should. We could do it. Yeah, we should do it. Yeah.
Alright, I have some AI videos.
There's a lot of AI video stuff that came up over the last couple of weeks.
Hello and welcome, I'm your Code Monkey. So recently there's been some interesting news about Valve relating to AI content. Basically, Valve is not willing to publish games with AI-generated content anymore. So this was the news which really blew up recently. This brings up a lot of questions regarding AI-generated art and the legality behind it. Adobe actually did something really interesting about that. And after a while, Valve finally put out an official statement. And there's also questions with other AI-related tools that are not about AI-generating art. For example, GitHub Copilot for programming and ChatGPT for just text. So there's a lot of questions regarding this, but let's start from the very beginning, and it all started over here on this post. It's a post on Reddit where someone mentioned that their game was rejected specifically for using AI-generated art. So this
Come
developer
on.
tried to release a game about a month ago with a few assets.
Huh?
Sorry. Like, I hate this. I like how one fucking guy posts a thing, and then now everyone has drawn a giant conclusion based off of that one person's post.
Well,
Like,
I think they actually did make a statement somewhere.
no. I know that, but I'm sure I don't think the statement is you can't use AI. I think the statement was probably like this guy probably did use some things that were kind of like clearly, obviously not like.
Well, you need proof that you
Yeah,
own everything, that you own the rights to the stuff the AI was trained on, or that it's not copyrighted by somebody else. But yeah, that's kind
I
of
have a
hard to
feeling.
do because, like, you can't really prove
After
it.
review, we've been advised the intellectual property which appears to belong to owner. Yeah, there we go. As the third, yeah, let's keep going.
that were fairly obviously AI-generated, and then they received this message, where Valve says, while we strive to ship most titles submitted to us, we cannot ship games for which the developer does not have all of the necessary rights. After reviewing, we have identified intellectual property which appears to belong to one or more third parties. In particular, the game contains art assets generated by artificial intelligence that appears to be relying on copyright material owned by third parties. As the legal ownership of such AI-generated art is unclear, we cannot ship your game while it contains these AI-generated assets. Of course, unless you can affirmatively confirm that you own the rights to all the IP used in the dataset that trained the AI to create the art assets for your game. So basically, do you own every single input that was used to train the AI? If so, then that's fine. If not, then that's a problem.
I think there's just going to
Like,
be like an approved
like,
AI that you can use, just like the Adobe one, right? Where if
yeah,
you're using that, then it's safe. If you're using some
I,
out open source one,
I,
it's not.
yeah, I highly doubt that all of Adobe's inputs are there. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I have a feeling they're just like we're gonna YOLO this in the sense that like we know that like in court these guys aren't going to win just because it's extremely hard to like at least in the U.S. Court system is going to favor the people that are using the AIs over the people that aren't simply because like if if they're going to look more at the legalese of the like the content that's posted like I don't know if you there's like a few months ago where I think the copyright whatever of the U.S. basically they kind of set some standards based off of someone basically published a fully AI book. It was like basically like 99% AI, and they're like, yeah, you can't really copyright this because it's like um, there's no editing of the work of the AI. Or sorry, they can't copyright it. They can still sell it, but they can't copyright it, which
So
means
that does
somehow
that mean someone else can just clone their work and sell it again?
yeah, yeah, exactly. But um, basically, if you do like a decent amount of editing on it, so like if you can transform the content, um, and that's going to be on a case by case scenario where the copyright people will have to look at it specifically and then check. Like then it would still get the copyright. So you could, if you did some editing and some changes to it, you could do that. I don't know how this is gonna work for like things like ChatGPT with the voice stuff, and like there's my thing would be like if Steam basically starts banning this, they can inadvertently give some another company the ability to then start their own Steam competitor, which would be like it's a good way for Steam to get to screw itself over in the long term.
So you think Epic would do something?
No, Epic is kind of sitting like weirdly enough. ArtStation is owned by Epic, and Epic said they're going to allow AI generated content to be used to be sold on their on the ArtStation store. And there was a huge fight against it with the art community, and the artists were mad. And now they've kind of chilled out because there's only so much people can fight till they get bored. I don't know. We'll see. Epic has been kind of like reserved on their AI stuff. We'll see how that changes in the future. The problem is also you don't know the inputs. Like a lot of they are using AI tools. That like they are creating a lot of AI tools, and like or they're making AI tool. They're using AI for some of their tools, I should say, like the MetaHuman animator now that allows you to basically do facial animation. I don't know what content they're using. I know a lot of those stuff are trained on like data from the like internet, like because it's like they basically have to track and like I'm assuming they're using some type of like AI tracking like software using like cameras, so they've probably trained in different lighting.
Do you remember that website I showed you? It was like Meta something, a website where they're going to generate a bunch of 3D models of characters and stuff. Yeah. I talked to the guy that like they want me to test their stuff, like beta test it, and like they own everything that they're going to use to train it on. So they're training on their own stuff, and they officially own everything. So that would be safe to use.
How did they get the 3D? Like
I don't know, but it looks like they've been making 3D art for people and like printing them and stuff. They have a whole bunch of 3D printing and sculptures and things, and they've got like a huge library of like human like things. So they're just going to generate human type stuff.
Yeah.
So not creatures or anything.
Yeah, I can see it. The only issue, like this is one of the things like inadvertently, like people don't really think this stuff's true, especially artists. Like a lot of people don't realize this. AI is here to stay, and it's going to be here to stay forever. And then the other thing is like, if a lot of this content can't be sourced off the internet, what they have inadvertently done is they've given the most powerful, most resource-filled companies the power to create basically the best AIs and gods, which will give them infinite amount of dollars, infinite amount of control over a large majority of the population, which is fucking mind-numbingly stupid to me. Like, I understand people wanting like not their art used and whatever to.
What do you mean? You think people can't compete with them? But then you can just clone the stuff and outsource it.
Sorry?
You can just clone the training program or whatever and outsource it. Right? Like the Stable Diffusion, there's all the duplicates of it, right?
No, I understand for like right now.
So anybody could compete with it. It's kind of a level playing field then.
No, I'm saying right now it's a level playing field because a lot of like Stable Diffusion grabs art off the internet. Like
yeah, so how is this one company gonna rule everybody?
Yeah, but I'm saying if there was a law that was put in place that banned using internet data and you had to own every
oh, that's what would give them. So it's just like a red tape thing.
Yes, all you're gonna see is Google, Facebook, and whatever own these AIs, and everybody is now paying billions of dollars to these companies, and they're gonna become infinitely rich. And people, it's basically it gatekeeps a very, very insanely powerful tool to just the wealthy companies, and everyone's fucked.
But unless they can't enforce it, if they can't enforce it, and then everybody just does their own thing.
No, but they can so this is the thing like they can enforce it because it is at least as of right now the technology you need hundreds of millions of dollars worth of compute, right? So to be able to then unless your algorithms are very, very, very like condensed / like optimized, then maybe you could do it. But like it's like you're just the AI like you're just not going to be able to compete against like the Chat GPTs or the.
I'm just thinking about art generation more than Chat GPT. game art.
Yeah. The game art stuff has come a long way, but again, you still need so all the base models for the art models still require basically the computer is
Your video
obviously
card is so powerful though.
Sorry?
Your video card is so powerful though.
No. So the base model itself is my point. Like the base model, I think the only way you could do it is if someone made a way to basically train the entire data set across like a distributed network of like remote, like, so let's say I could, like, kind of like Bitcoin, I could use my own machine and everybody else could pool their machines together, together to say, hey, we're gonna like everybody can put their own data set, like you can make your own art and put it into that data set, and then everybody can pool their machines. Because so Stable Diffusion costs like a couple $1 million to make the base weights, and you always need those base weights. I can't, I don't have enough, my computer can't train the base model itself, right? So that's you take in all the base art, right? Like all the art, and then you take in the code, and then you train the massive network, right? So like
But why can't you just download the checkpoint? You don't need to train it.
No, but I'm saying if the law said you can't use, this is the hypothetical world where you can't use any content.
Yes, but you can't. The law can't enforce it though.
Well, it can't. It can enforce it for new stuff, because like it's gonna be obvious if you're training a new AI. Because people know exactly the servers and the computers that are being used right now to train AI. So the companies, like, there's only a handful of them on the planet. Maybe a couple, maybe over two dozen, maybe 20, there are maybe 24 massive data centers that can do the training. And I don't like those. You just need to gatekeep those companies and say, hey, we're going to audit you every couple whatever. Are you doing AI training on data sets that aren't owned by you? Are you, even if I could pay those companies, they're going to audit their
couldn't you just take whatever they trained and use it? Like everybody can use it.
Well, my guess would be that they'll probably make their AI tools cloud based, and you would never get access to the source data. So it'd be basically impossible to get.
So basically, they would just get super far ahead, because right now they're just putting it all out there.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. They would get super far ahead, and then they would gatekeep it, where it's basically impossible to get the base weights to get any of the data or any of the information. Like, imagine, I'll give you an idea. There is one company that's doing exactly that right now, and that company is Tesla, right? Tesla, all of their driving data comes from their cars, so they own all their data. They own all their code. They're soon going to own all their compute, right? So Tesla basically, unless you were able to reverse, actually some people have been able to reverse the code from the cars, but even then it would be completely useless by taking the code and putting it into another car that's not a Tesla. So you're still kind of limited in that way. But basically, Tesla gatekeeps its entire thing.
Tesla's stock just went down, man. Tesla's stock just went down again.
Yeah, it got destroyed on Friday, or Thursday.
Didn't they have a bunch of good sales and they have a good quarter, and then it just goes down?
So my guess is there are a couple things. Apparently, the Nasdaq is rebalancing. So basically, they're reducing, because they're overweight on Tesla and a bunch of these other tech companies, because they're overweight on it, they have to rebalance. So that was probably some of the sales. And then also, there's a lot of people that do short-term trades on Tesla. So whilst it might seem kind of bad in the short term, typically it could just be people that bought in for the earnings and then sold immediately. And then the third thing I would say is stop losses. So typically, a lot of people will have 4 or 5% stop loss, and then once that gets triggered, you can imagine how many, everyone just automatically sells, and that automatically just kind of push that down. And then the last thing is the federal. There is people think that there's going to be another Fed hike in the U.S. with rates. So, yeah, it was a combination of a bunch of things. Overall, though, that
they're all just going to start buying suddenly.
Yeah, dude. So people still think that Tesla's going to keep dropping prices on their cars to be able to sell more. I don't think that's as big of a deal as people are making it out to be, because I think in the short term they're very, very worried about Tesla's margins. I'm not too worried about that shit.
How close are we to the Cybertruck being out?
So they produced their first one.
Just the one that Elon drove?
Yeah. No. So the first production Tesla came off the line.
Oh. Like the one that they will sell.
Yeah, but that one's gonna be more for, like, usually the first couple vehicles off the line are used for testing, specifically for production. Like, it's like testing, like, hey, is this a good production car? But this is so every Cybertruck you've seen up until now was not made off the production line. It was like basically handmade.
And this is in Texas?
Yes, the Texas factory. So I don't know if you saw this image.
So that's the first car crowded in the
Well, they normally, when Tesla hits like a milestone, they'll get all the people that worked on it on that milestone, and then they take a photo. So in this case, yeah, this is technically the first Cybertruck off the production line, and then now they're basically tuning the production line. So over this next quarter, they're going to start ramping up production.
So like next year they'll actually be in stores, or like you can buy one.
You will probably see them on the roads next year. Yeah.
Well, I guess people on the waiting list will start getting it.
Yeah. My assumption is we might probably see the first Cybertruck in Vancouver, maybe middle or end of next summer in Canada, potentially.
A whole year?
It might even be further than that, mostly because like the demand. So what's going to happen is Tesla is going to make the most expensive. This is my guess. Tesla is going to focus on the most expensive variants, and they're only going to focus on the U.S. market for at least the next year, because there's a huge backlog of, like, I don't know, close to 2 million pre-orders, and I'm assuming a ton of them are in the U.S. So obviously, to make as much money as possible, they're going to be basically trying to hit all of the demand that they have in the U.S.
Yeah.
So I would actually even be surprised if we see a Cybertruck in Canada next year, just because, like, they want to make money, they want to keep their margins up, and Wall Street loves that shit. So yeah, my assumption is as they ramp, most of the Cybertrucks will be in the U.S. If we're lucky, maybe we'll see. If we're lucky, they might bring it to Canada.
Yeah. All right, let's watch the next video.
Sure.
Researchers from Stanford build a new chip which is capable of training artificial neural networks at the speed of light. This is the first ever photonic chip which is capable of training neural network models. And this is huge.
What's it about? They're just using light instead of whatever they used before?
Yeah. So I don't know if you know what photonic chips are. Basically,
it's for the neural training.
Yeah. So no, they used to make they've been making photonic chips that are for what they call edge devices. So they can train an AI model, and then they can use it on the chip that's like a photonic chip. But basically, photonic chips, because it uses light to do the calculations instead of like copper, it's a lot more like energy efficient. And that means you can like do a lot more calculations in the less amount of energy. But this breakthrough is that they can actually train on the photonic chip, which is like a big deal for, like, no one's really done it yet.
So it's a big performance boost.
It's a big like energy savings with photonic chips. Yeah.
So it's not going to make it like way faster to train like ChatGPT and stuff?
Well, technically, because if you can save money, if you can save energy, you can then increase your basically your compute, which will then allow you to do more training. So photonic chips basically give you like a huge you can do a lot more. So you can get like 10xing in like throughput type of thing. So yes, you will be able to do more calculations. Like it's a big deal in that sense because it's like basically the goal of like right now all of the tech people are trying to reduce the amount of energy that it takes to train a lot of these AI and the amount of compute that needs to do it. So
I heard that they put what was it, Stable Diffusion onto a Raspberry Pi.
Oh, I didn't know that. I wonder how. That must be a very, very nerfed model unless like they were able to add like a shit ton of memory on it. I don't know how they'd be able to do that. Be interesting to see.
Maybe I'm wrong. I think that's what I heard.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
All right, next one.
Yeah.
This thing. The only reason I'm showing you this is because it says ChatGPT on it.
Oh, I think I have seen this one too. This one, yeah, it is cool because like they made it like a hologram, and then you can do the. It's funny. There's a company called Looking Glass that also has a holographic display, and they also have a similar thing. And they're also using ChatGPT, or maybe one of the other like maybe.
It would be kind of cool to have like projector lights in your house, and then it just makes the hologram of the person walking around in your house, and you can talk to it.
Yeah, I mean,
like all those movies.
It's more likely going to be like AR glasses that you have on, and then you walk around and you can see them in the AR.
I don't want to wear AR glasses though.
Yeah, there's at least as of right now, there's no technology that allows you to get to real life holograms without like a screen.
Yeah.
Like that technology doesn't. I don't know if it even exists or it's even possible.
What's up guys, welcome to the AI Timeline episode 10. To be honest, I am completely overwhelmed because there was a lot of crazy AI news that happened in the past week, so let's dive into it. In today's headline, an AI research that is capable of generating a complete South Park episode has been published, showing us the capability to generate episodes infinitely with...
What?
No, yeah, keep playing, but after the thing is done, have you seen this, right?
I've seen I watched a little bit of it. The South Park episode.
Well,
it looked like somebody actually it didn't look like it was generated though. It looks like they just probably asked ChatGPT for a script and then put it in themselves. But
I think the animation and stuff might be done.
But I don't think it's all done by AI. I think there's someone telling it what to do. Like directing it.
I don't know. I think no. So like there was a previous paper that I think might have been done by these people, and what they did is they basically created like almost like a game scenario where they had these like characters that were supposed to play out a scenario. Like they were given like a specific.
Was that the Seinfeld episode one? Or was like a AI Seinfeld show?
I remember the Seinfeld one, but this was way better than the Seinfeld one. This is specifically for research. They basically put like a ChatGPT inside a characters. This was like in the I think those are the same people that did this paper. So this is just like a better version of it.
So it's fully automated?
Yes. And basically the characters know their backstory, and then they're able to act in that backstory, and they basically automated the entire process. So you can basically watch this game. You can watch it play out where like they do things. So like one of the guys like throws a birthday party.
So this is how they're gonna make NPCs really good in games, because they'll have their backstory, and then they'll just basically roleplay based on their backstory.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just a single text prompt. When I said everything about the episode is AI generated, literally everything is AI generated. The background art and the characters are generated by diffusion-based text-to-image models. The voices are synthesized by AI, probably tortoise. The plot and the scene of the episode is fully generated by GPT-4 with a prompt chain. It's kind of jaw-dropping that a fully AI-generated TV show of this quality is already here, sitting right here in front of my eyes. Let me just quickly show you what it looks like.
Screw you, Kyle. You're just jealous because you don't understand the true power of AI. We're almost done with the programming for the AI
Disney.
robot pig.
Disney.
Imagine the endless possibilities for entertainment.
All the characters, movements, mouth movements,
Yeah, all the animation,
voices,
everything is all AI.
dialogues, and even deep fake characters are all AI generated, like the Elon Musk
Yeah.
character.
But a person would have said, make it say Disney up there.
No, because the reason why is like they literally generated like 100 different of these. like it is all automated. I don't know how. Like if they released this shit and I was like, this is magic, and there were a lot of people who were complaining like, why are you using South Park? But no, it's all like I don't know how much of the input that they have. Maybe the initial is like, hey, make a show about Elon Musk and maybe Disney. Like maybe there is that input, but the entire creation is completely it's completely the AI generated. There's no human take.
So someone's just like, make a movie about this, and then sits back and lets the AI do it.
Yeah, basically.
Right here.
So the idea is to preserve humanity's cultural heritage by sending our most important actors off to my Mars base.
It is basically a simulation with around the same idea as the AI
Yep.
SpongeBob that went viral on YouTube, where the characters can interact with each other based on the given topic, and then a story can be generated from that. These are all official demos, by the way. This program is not available for anyone. I can definitely hear Disney drooling over this technology right now. Visual entertainment is going to be changed completely in these coming years, or probably in the coming months. Onto the next headline, Meta has dropped yet another bombshell that will probably
Llama
reshape
2.
the landscape of open source language models. Yes, Llama 2 has been officially released with zero warning. There are currently 3 different sizes ranging from 7B, 13B to 70 billion parameters. They are all trained on 2 trillion tokens and has a context length of 4096 tokens. Compared to other existing
Nice.
models, Llama 2 70B easily
Llama 2.
Llama 2. Basically, it's like a ChatGPT competitor, but it's open source that you can potentially run locally.
Open source, but it's Meta.
Yeah. So Meta's basically, I don't know if you watched, Mark did a podcast and he said basically, yeah, they're open sourcing basically all of their AI models for sorry, not all of them, but their basically their ChatGPT competitor model.
It's an AI race, I guess.
Yeah, I think the reason why they're open sourcing it is because they see the benefits of stable diffusion, where once you release the model, people can do fine tuning, and you have if you have like thousands or hundreds of thousands of people using it, and then you can have tuning by them, then you can start to see a lot of huge benefits from fine tuning, which ChatGPT is harder to do with ChatGPT.
Inversion and LoRa have been the key developments in Stable Diffusion image generation. It is what enables people to train a custom model for a specific art style or a type of human portrait. However, they all have a few downsides. It takes pretty long to train them. So Hyper Dream Booth is here to change our lives. It is 25 times faster than Dream Booth, 125 times faster than textual inversion, and to top it all, it needs as
Do you want to try that?
Yeah, I don't know if this is out yet.
25 times faster?
Yeah.
little as one reference image to generate results that look this good. How they have done this is by using a hyper network to generate an initial prediction of a subset of network weights that are then refined using fast fine-tuning for high fidelity to subject detail. Using a single reference and comparing to other existing methods, Hyper Dream Booth definitely outclassed them all. If the codes are ever going to be released, I would definitely try out multiple references to see how well it can outperform others in terms of subject consistency, and see if they can actually replace Dream Booth or not. And yeah, that was a crazy start for the last week. One AI tech that can change the entire entertainment industry, and two AI techs that can potentially change their respective fields. But there's a lot more. We are not slowing down today. I have already told you about the new Llama 2 model, but Meta also released yet another research, and more specifically, a multimodal language model. It's called Chameleon, and what's novel about this is that it is a foundation model that does text-to-image and image-to-text generation both ways. With this, it is capable of doing a lot of things, like the basic text-to-image function, text-guided image editing, image content Q&A, structure-guided automated image editing like segmentation to image and object to image. It can also perform super resolution by adding a super resolution stage in the image generation. They didn't mention any plans to release this model, so testing it out might be impossible. There were some criticisms about this too. Gorn stated in the comments that the results look pretty bad and a lot of things look very artificial, which make this research look like something from if you're using their API. Claude 2 also lets you directly upload PDFs, and compared to ChatGPT plugins where you need to upload the PDF to a third-party website, which sometimes doesn't really work, Claude 2 really outshines ChatGPT in this area. And right now, Claude 2 is completely free. Yes, free. Only few major downsides are that first, it's currently only available in the US and UK, but they are expanding soon. And second, Code Interpreter would still perform better at reading and generating codes because Code Interpreter has an instance for executing the codes itself, and I don't think Claude 2 has
this is
anything
cool.
like that. Third, Claude 2 cannot upload.
I want to use Code Interpreter. I need to like pay for ChatGPT.
Yeah, they added Code Interpreter, and that was like a pretty big deal because you could basically run the code off of ChatGPT instead of having to like go run it on your own separate thing.
I want to try all their plugins that you have to pay for.
Yeah, it's like $30 a month or something. I thought about paying for ChatGPT, just because I want to get GPT-4 apparently is a lot better than GPT 3.5 or the one that's like free.
Yeah.
And apparently it feels like it's a lot more useful than actually no, GPT-3 is already pretty useful. I use it every day, or not every day, every like once in a while. But
what do you mostly use it for?
I use it mostly for like searching or understanding something really quickly instead of like having to go through Google.
Yeah, that's what I do too. Whenever I'm like, what is this, or like, why does this happen? I'll just ask that instead of actually searching.
Yeah. Because like I hate Google because it like the first like couple, it's always like ads now on the first like few things, and it's so hard to find the actual.
Well, with Google, I would always search for Reddit. I would always find some Reddit discussion.
Same. I use Reddit too.
ChatGPT is so smart because I was just like, you don't even have to be clear when you ask it a question. I asked it, dog, fire hydrant, why? That's all I said. And then it explained why dogs pee on fire hydrants and how they mark their territory and blah, 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 blah. I didn't have to specifically ask it. I asked it like really crappy. It knew.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like, I think for general stuff, it'll know pretty well. Some people say like you definitely do see some like garbage out of it, which is true.
The only garbage thing I've had is when I'll be asking it something and then it will be like, that's not morally appropriate. And then it won't answer me. I don't like how it will just be like, lecture me about what's appropriate to ask it or whatever. Say you were making a video game about war and how you would kill tons of people and you ask it for ideas.
Next up, Google Bard has added an option where you can upload images for it to process. Multimodal image processing with Bard is actually pretty good. In this example by AI Breakfast, the Bard can actually tell that this is not an egg, but a cat. It says that this is a photo of a white cat curled up on a gray bed sheet. It also automatically made the connection that it looks like an egg yolk on a fried egg, which is surprising.
Yeah, I thought that was an egg.
Yeah, so did I. It looks like a furry egg.
Let me just tell you, this guy ran a full 65 billion model on a bunch of Raspberry Pis. He ran on his Pi cluster and loaded it across the cluster.
Maybe that's what I heard about.
Inference, which then is able to generate 1 token per 10 seconds. If you ask me what exactly he is explaining, I will have to tell you that I have no idea either. In the last piece of LLM news, is Apple finally going to improve Siri? There are sources saying that Apple is developing generative AI tools and an internal chatbot app called Apple GPT that is definitely going to be used on Siri. Siri is probably the most underwhelming chatbot right now. Even MKBHD said.
Will you get the Apple VR headset?
It's a little bit too expensive for my blood. I'm gonna unfortunately get the new Oculus one.
What about like the second generation, the next generation of the Apple one?
The problem with Apple is that they don't integrate into any of the Windows stuff, at least from what I've seen. So, and also it looks like you're going to basically need to. You can basically only use like Apple apps, and right now they also don't have anything on the game side of things. Like, so it's the one thing I would want it for is like watching movies and stuff. Like, because it basically has the best screen of any of the headsets currently that are going to be out. But my guess is that after like a year or two after Apple, or basically like a year after Apple releases their headset, someone on the Windows side or on our side of things will probably drop a headset with similar resolution as the Apple device that will be more catered towards any of the regular stuff that we already kind of expect. So I'm not gonna like, to me it's basically it's like $5,000 Canadian or something for the headset.
Yeah, but the next generation one might be like $2,000.
Even then, like basically like for the use cases I would want, it has to be more than like just a movie watching device. Like the one thing I do like it for is apparently the pass-through is really good. But apparently I also heard that the pass-through that's going to be in the new Oculus headset's going to be really good too. So it'll be interesting to see how.
But you'll have access to the entire App Store, so there will be games.
Yeah, but not the mobile games. I mean, the actual. What I want is the actual. Sorry, can I quickly? My brother's calling. Okay.
A few moments later.
Like this is the. I guess this is the argument against capitalism. And I was just watching a thing about how apparently it was from the 70s to the 90s is when there was the argument that like it was the difference between labor and capital, and the hope was that capital would be more important. Sorry, labor would be more important than capital. And what ended up happening is because the U.S. kind of decided that like they're gonna like allow they would basically export manufacturing outside of the U.S. So they basically said fuck their own people. At least the capitalists in the U.S. said fuck their own people, and they started outsourcing to the cheapest, lowest labor in the world. So capital became more important. So what's happened is you've seen an insane. We've seen what we've seen is like deflation in capital, where capital has just become really cheap, and it's become like the value of capital keeps going up, and then labor, you just find the cheapest labor, and then you just see the wealth inequality in like the U.S. has just skyrocketed, and a lot of these across the world in general, wealth inequality is skyrocketing.
And it'll just keep doing that because of AI.
Well, so at some point it will break, like because you need to still sustain humanity, right? Like you can't just say fuck the everyday person.
It should just make everything cheap and free, actually.
That is the thought process. It could just become fucking slavery, where
it just depends who's in control.
Yeah, but like where's this? I found
Toy, we should finish watching these videos.
Yeah, we will. What? Look at this chart.
Is it a wealth distribution?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's the United States. It's like the most fair.
No, it's the least fair.
Oh wait, I'm looking at it wrong.
The 1% owns 40% of the wealth, versus the 10% own. So the funny thing is, across all the countries,
where's Canada?
10%. Canada is like right in the middle. So like the 1% own 18% of the wealth in Canada. Funny enough, like if you look at the middle is actually pretty consistent across all the country, so including the U.S., where like the 10 percentile owns about 30% of the wealth across, even in the U.S. But so what you see is like it's a flip where
so it's like the 1% is taking from the bottom 90%.
Basically.
So comparing Greece, man, like 59%, and then for the U.S., 21%.
Yeah.
But there's more wealth in the United States.
So the argument people are making is that like the reason why the U.S. has such a huge discrepancy is that like there's a lot more capital, so a lot of that capital is just like more at the top. So like there's like the largest companies, the Facebooks, the Googles, whatever, they're all like concentrated in the U.S. So you're going to see a lot more of that wealth concentrated in a few hands of the hands of a very small group of people. Versus in these other countries, they don't have as many of the tech. They don't have a lot of the innovation that like the U.S. does. So, of course, you don't see that.
But the AI is going to give everyone innovation.
Oh, it's either this chart's literally gonna turn into.
It's gonna be like 90% belongs to the 1%,
Yeah.
and then everyone else is like a peon.
Yes. Everybody else is basically begging.
Okay, well that's when people rise up and kill the 1%.
But I was talking to my friend, or there's a guy I was talking about how, and this is just a quick conversation. Even though capitalism won against communism as far as like the war and all that shit, it doesn't necessarily mean that like communism itself is bad, in the sense that like there are probably things that are there are social policies from communism that are probably good, and the same way that there are social policies from capitalism that are good, and it's trying to get that healthy balance.
But some corrupt people at the top can just take advantage of it.
Exactly, but the argument is that like freedom from your society is a choice, and democracy can be a choice. You can somewhat have a. I don't. There's arguments that you can't have a. I think you can have a healthy balance, right? So the argument that I make is that we're about to see the worst parts of capitalism
because of AI.
Yes, we could potentially see the worst parts of it in the same way we saw the worst parts of communism, because it's going to be. Think about it. It's going to be concentrated in the hands of a small group of people, like communism was, and they're going to have so much fucking power. You're about to see what humans can do when they have so much power in the hands of a small group of people. This is why I'm so anti all these people that are like, "Oh, AI should be like you shouldn't be allowed the inputs." I'm like, you're about to give corporations and a very small percentage of people more power than they've ever had in their entire fucking existence of humanity. Good luck. It will make communism feel like child's play.
Damn, we're in like the end times, man.
I still think there's a potential for balance if the right decisions are made.
No, dude, how often are the right decisions made, really?
I mean, we didn't nuke ourselves to fucking oblivion, so that was like a good thing. Like humans kind of got together and said, "Hey, we should probably not nuke each other to death." And we've created like the United Nations, even as corrupt as some places can be, have done some useful things for the world and been able to like set certain like we have like global laws against war and certain things, and making sure that certain people don't break them. So humans can get together and like work together to solve these things. My fear is that are we going to be aware quickly enough to set these rules before a lot of that's
no, because the government's very slow. Like Elon was saying, right? He was asking them to regulate, and they're too slow.
Yeah. The other hope is that there's enough people in that position that do give a shit about humans, like that, or sorry, they give a shit enough that they don't care to enslave humanity with the AIs, because like it's just hoping that like the Zuckerbergs, the Elons, and whatever don't care to just turn humans into like their own plaything.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, like even just freaking like Tesla bot. Imagine if tomorrow Elon can manufacture like 20 million Tesla bots in a year. Elon could literally have his one click.
He can just go to war with them.
Yeah, well, Elon can literally have control of it and be like, "You're now like
Terminators, man."
Yeah, like unironically, Elon's been complaining about that shit, but he's also literally building the thing that could do that shit. Right? Like.
He's like, I'm scared of this, and then he builds the exact thing.
He builds the things that he's afraid
just like the Neuralink.
Yeah, but his argument's always been, if I don't build it, someone else will. And I'm like, well, that's what everybody says.
I mean, that's true, though. It's true.
That was the whole thing with the nuclear. That was the whole thing with Oppenheimer. It was like the US
oh, so you just watched it? Or are you watching it tonight?
I haven't seen the movie yet. I know about the story. But it was like the U.S. had to build the first nukes before the Germans did.
Okay.
Right?
So it's just like a race to the moon. It's a race to build a nuke.
Yeah, it's going to be the race to build the fucking AI that like gives everybody power. I mean, sorry, gives like a very like.
Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk?
Wait, in the actual fight? like in the physical fight or in the
No,
or AI?
who's not physical fight? Who's gonna win with
Oh,
AI? Zuckerberg, Musk, or the OpenAI guy, or Google, or someone else, or Microsoft?
Microsoft is surprisingly up there. Like they're in the ball game. Like I think from my conversation with you, specifically from a sociological point of view, I think Mark is way ahead of than most people think. Mark has a lot more power than most people think. Like Google has search, but search is just like, hey, I need to find the thing, right?
And you think he's gonna make the metaverse good?
It's not about the metaverse. It's all about like the amount of sociological data that Facebook has.
Did Threads turn out? Did that Threads thing go well?
It's gone all right. Like it had like one of the highest releases of any social media thing in a very long time. Apparently, had like 70 million people sign up for it overnight, like the first day. I don't know. I don't look at it as much. I don't know if I see people posting as much on it. I'm sure they'll start doing drops. I still prefer Twitter, but we'll see. It's still early days. I don't. There's not much I can say about it, but it is supposed to be competing with Elon stuff. Twitter is making like, so I kind of understand why. Like this is I have a feeling Elon kind of knew that Mark has a lot more power than people think. Because again, the sociological decisions that we know, that we like, Mark has WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. Like literally, probably like at least a quarter to a half of the world's social like interactions probably happen on Meta's platforms, which means the amount of data they have of this way humans interact with each other, the conversations we have.
Oh, and they can train it. They can train the AI on all our conversations.
Yes, exactly. Governments can only dream of the amount of data that Facebook has, and we take it for granted. And when it comes to training the AI stuff, if Meta wants to create the ultimate fucking social machine that can manipulate, that can control, that can do shit that you have never seen before, it's going to be Meta that will do it. I don't. Google maybe, because Google has the search of the internet, and they also have YouTube, but their data is a lot harder to kind of like.
But Elon has all the cars learning and the locomotion and the robots.
Yeah, for self-driving, that's fine. But I'm saying for social, like, sorry, for movement. So for actual robots, yeah, of course, Facebook. Sorry. So I think Tesla will probably be the kings of robots in like 10 years. My fear is mostly just the internet and the sociological order. Like, let me put it this way: Meta will be the company that creates AI, AI, agents that are on the internet that you will never like.
You don't think OpenAI is better than Facebook though? You just think Facebook is going to catch up because they have all the stuff to, all the conversations and everything to train on.
Yeah, I think OpenAI will probably be, basically Microsoft owns OpenAI. Like it's basically like a Microsoft product at this point. So potentially, like with Microsoft, I just don't think like the so OpenAI has the engineering, and then they have the data of the internet because they basically script the internet, right? But their data set is not unique to them, right? So it's their search algorithm, it's their training algorithm that is unique to them, which nobody has, right? They own that shit. But Facebook
has the resources to make a better one.
Potentially, they're also learning off of the stuff that OpenAI is doing, so they could.
And they're open sourcing. They're open sourcing a bunch too.
Yeah, but OpenAI will never get Facebook's data, ever, at the scale that Facebook has it. Versus Facebook has access to the same data that OpenAI does.
Damn. All right, let's watch whatever was left of this.
A few days ago, the anti-AI representative Carla Ortiz, Ben Brooks of Stability AI, Dana Rao of Adobe, and Jeffrey Harrelson of Universal Music Group came forward for a Senate hearing. In this hearing, Adobe's Dana Rao proposed the Senate to make art styles copyrightable, which is absolute nuts.
What?
We believe artists should be protected against this type of economic harm.
What?
We propose Congress establish a new federal anti-impersonation right.
No.
Artists the right to enforce against someone intentionally attempting to impersonate their style or likeness.
Furthermore,
intentionally impersonating their style or likeness.
Are you insane? The only person that this helps is large corporations. It does not help the artist. Are you insane? Are you insane?
Is this the thing you were worried about before? You're saying it helps the big corporation. Yeah.
Yes, because the corporations are saying, oh, cool, we could just buy all the rights for fucking style. Are you insane? That means every style could just be bought up by a corporation. Good luck being able to draw anything till the end of time.
So Adobe owns all of it.
Yes, they basically can just then buy up all the art styles on the planet. Now you're paying royalties to them for till the end of time. It's like buying up.
Hey, look, Adobe is the one that asked it.
Yes, because it helps them. It doesn't help the artist. This is why I'm saying artists need to be smarter and understand this shit. This is oh my god.
Another thing to the Senate called the C2PA, which is a new bill to control image authenticity. The stuff they have proposed here is pretty problematic and can ultimately destroy online data privacy. So I'll be talking about it more deeply in a separate video. So
this is horrible.
Remember in the last episode, I was making the suggestion for the guy wearing a wig and converting himself into a girl that he should try out different hair
that's
colors.
A dude?
Funnily, before my video even uploaded, he posted what exactly I wanted him to try out with pure coincidence. I guess he or his
bought a
audience
wig
also
and then
thought the same thing. And yeah, by this result, you can definitely tell the regions around the hands are not separated cleanly. After a few days, he also posted an actual video
popular
of
on
him being
TikTok
placed side by side with the generated video. I guess it's to prove to people that this full body image to image AI filter is legit. He said in the comments that he didn't use Epsynth and he used image to image for all the frames using Stable Diffusion, which took around 2 hours to make. Next up, here is a post about using SDXL to generate textures. So far, it looks incredibly promising to generate unique and repeated patterns with a strong hint of realism, like the patterns on the wooden planks and the stones. Remember Pika Labs from last episode? Some people has utilized it and made a Futurama as a real-life cyberpunk movie by taking the results,
that's awesome.
presumably Midjourney, and turning it into videos with Pika Labs. Lastly, this technique of using AI generative fills on movie scenes and inpaint them vertically is able to convert them into a believable portrait aspect ratio. The effect is especially seamless when a movie scene or a camera shot barely moves, which is pretty sick. And let me segue into today.
It's just getting better and better.
Yeah, but it's also like killing like things that used to look really cool now just seem kind of redundant just because it's like, well, it took like 2 seconds to create that.
Yeah, they also export a depth map now too, right off the website.
Yeah, the depth stuff is not. It's good.
I want to take that and put it into a YouTube. Have you seen where some people have a 3D YouTube video and you can like rotate around and stuff? It'd be cool to use this and do that somehow. I have no idea how you do that though. Like how you edit that in.
360 video, yeah. I think there are like things that allow, like programs that allow you to create them.
I want to try to figure that out. That would be cool. Okay, Toye. This next thing is, I just think like, okay, you know how we were talking about like wanting to make a TikTok influencer out of AI? This just makes them easier to make with AI. How they're acting, this would make them easier to replicate in AI, I think.
You probably saw this and were wondering, is it as bad as I think? Yes.
Marshmallow.
Oh, this.
Crunchy corn, yum! Kitty paws.
They're turning into AIs.
Oh my god.
It literally can be like this brainless programmed thing that just reacts with pre-made animations for each item that people pay.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Like you could make. Oh, this is like the plan is to like make people to like do it like spending money on this, and then you could just replace the humans with.
You could just
AIs.
swap in an AI that's just pre-made.
And people would
Because they're
never know.
basically doing that.
Yeah, actually, you're not wrong. Holy shit, man, humans are fucked.
Pumpkin, yum!
For me, for me, for me, for me, for me. Taco, for me, for me.
Welcome to TikTok's latest wholesome contribution to society. It's
Every time I
literally
see those
called
clips,
the
I cringe so
NPC
hard.
trend.
Grab, fire, meow. Hee-haw, yes, you got me feeling like a cowgirl. Balloon.
I heard this chick's making like $7,000 a month or something. This girl.
No, it's like $7,000 a day.
A day? No.
She's making him.
No.
She's making thousands of dollars a day. Because no, I'm pretty sure she's making like hundreds of dollars an hour. Like she has to be making more than $7,000.
Well, she has 52,000 people viewing this one. Like just in this moment, yeah.
Yeah, I think she was making. She's definitely making like.
So imagine you just like put in an automated thing of an AI.
If it was real enough.
If it looked real, it was convincing, and you just have it like you only need it to have a different reaction for each of the different icons or whatever stickers.
Yeah, from what I've heard though, because people only clip her when she's doing this, she does come out of character once in a while. So like.
But you could make an AI that does that. You could just have a bunch of random things where it has like slightly different responses to the same thing, and you just kind of randomize it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably get there one day. I haven't seen anything that's close to being able to do. Like you could probably create an AI that can do this that looks realistic that like people wouldn't be able to tell.
Just make it really pretty looking, and then people would just start giving it tons of money.
Yeah, well, I think people still do want the human element there.
No, but they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know.
Yeah, I just don't think there's anything that's right now that you could create that people would be able to tell.
So
it's fake,
simps spend actual money to buy
real.
TikTok tokens in the form of cartoon stickers, ice cream cones, donuts, roses. Then NPC streamers react to receiving them with scripted catchphrases and repetitive sex robot style movement.
Scripted. He said scripted.
Ooh, gang, gang.
Well, scripted. It's scripted in the sense that
they're turning into AI.
she's doing it based off the emote.
Yeah,
like, that's the scripted part. But like that's the goal. Is like you want to be.
But she's just repeating the same thing.
I think the reason why this is popular is the fact that it's a human trying to be an NPC. I think if you try to do an NPC trying to be a human, it'll be much like people would not pay for it.
But it's just funny because it's like, how do we make something convincing? It's like, oh, they're just making it easier now.
Yeah. Potentially, I think potentially in the future, you could see someone that like I could see where you make your own character where like you do start off as an NPC and then you swap it out with the real one. So maybe like for like maybe in an like maybe you could have it running for like an hour and then maybe 10 minutes of the time you step in and you like start talking and people don't know. So you can transit. You just walk into the fake version of yourself and then like they don't know and then you swap like whenever you need to chat you just quickly swap back in and like hey and then you talk and then they don't know, so like you're basically it's like half automated half not. I think that could be the value there because she has to do that for like 5 hours. I can't imagine.
That's the thing though, is if you could automate it you don't have to do it.
No, but again I'm saying like she has to be in character like 95% of the time. So if she could, I think it's probably easy to automate that 95%, but the 5% when she's like being a human, that part's hard.
But that's when AI gets really good and really convincing.
Yeah, we're not close to that yet. Like at least for real time. A lot of the pre-rendered stuff I think we get close, but like the real time stuff isn't close yet. The real time stuff is a lot harder to do. Like all the really cool AI stuff that like looks really good are all pretty like it's taken a while to render type of thing. Even the voice stuff, but maybe we'll get to real time in like a year or two. Have you seen Have you seen the Unreal 5 AI demo where you can walk up to different characters and talk to them?
Yeah, it's like the cyberpunk thing, right?
Yeah, basically, and then they all respond and.
Is it official
Well,
Unreal?
no. This one's a different one made by They're using replica. Let me find it. Got me feeling like a cowgirl. Gang gang. Gang gang.
Yeah, dude, you know what's
In my
so
head.
disturbing is like I listened to that for a little while, and then one of
And
the
now it's stuck in
phrases,
your head.
yeah, one of the phrases got stuck in my head, and I just like randomly said it, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yep. Like gang gang. Gang gang. Got me feeling like a cowgirl. Now that
What
man,
you're about to witness is truly incredible. I've messed around with this for about 30 seconds and I am blown away. I never thought we would get to a point like this.
Oh, it's
and
the
this is
Matrix.
absolutely the future
Yeah, it's the
of
Matrix,
video games
demo
and honestly
from the
kind of our
Unreal.
society. This is Replica Studios' smart NPC for Unreal Engine. So this is a demo of this new technology running in the Unreal Engine City demo, where you can speak to any AI on the street. You can actually walk up and talk to NPCs.
Is this
Let's
something
get
we could
this
just download and play?
Yes.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello. You need something from me?
No, I just wanted to say what's up. How's your day going?
Oh, my day has been all right. I'm just exploring the city today.
Oh, nice. Do you live here or just visiting on vacation? He looks very, very sad. He doesn't...
That's none of your business. Why do you ask?
Calm down, buddy. I'm just trying to make some new friends. I'm new here in the city and just exploring. He got really offended by that question for no reason. Sometimes it takes him a little bit of time to answer, but I mean, this is insane.
I apologize for my earlier tone. I'm also new to the city. Maybe we can explore together and become friends.
No way. Also, I do want to give credit to where I first saw this. It was a recommended video on YouTube from Jeff Favinano, so I'll link his video down in the description. Dang, dude, when's the last time you got a haircut?
I actually just got one last week. Maybe it wasn't good enough.
I mean, it's not really my taste, but I guess if it works for you. I feel, dude, he just made me feel bad. Why is he so depressed?
What do you mean it's not your taste? Do I look bad? Maybe I should go get another one.
If I'm being real, I would consider it.
Hold on. Why do you think your opinion matters? I don't need your input on my opinions.
Enough about your haircut, bro. That's a nice green shirt you got on.
Do you think his voice kind of sounded like Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the slow. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it does kind of sound.
Okay.
I guess.
I was just hoping to have a friendly
It's just
chat
a
while we
shirt,
wait.
though. Nothing special.
Bro, this is insane. I'll be honest, it sounds like you're a little upset. Is there anything going on you need to talk about?
And you're just figuring that out now. Maybe it's because you keep commenting on things that aren't your business.
I feel bad, dude. We came up...
Okay, how is it that you can be rude to it and it doesn't stop and go, this is inappropriate for... You know what I mean? Like when it always stops, like when I talk to ChatGPT and I say something rude, it'll like stop and be like, oh, I don't want to comment on that.
Yeah.
How are they getting around it?
So I think, well, I don't know if Replica is using ChatGPT or if they're using like the open source Llama model. So if they're using like Llama, they can skip like.
So they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. So if they're using like an open source model, it's kind of like.
Isn't Replica
kinda
like that? Replica's that like dating robot app?
Yeah, kind of. Yep.
They're the ones that are
but they have,
doing this.
They're doing. Yeah, they're doing. Yeah, basically their goal is to basically create like a human like experience in it, like as AI, so you can speak. And my guess is they're just trying to make AI robots that are not. They're not going for intelligence. They're going for like emotional connection. So they're like designing different characters where you can have conversations and then it feels real. So they don't necessarily need the perfection of like ChatGPT. So they might be using like, we don't really know what models they're using. At least I haven't looked. They could be using ChatGPT. I don't know. I know you can also get API level access to ChatGPT, which has like less of the filtering on it. So it just depends. Because there's some people that use the free version, right?
Yeah.
Of ChatGPT, and it hooks up, and then that's how you get those. Or you can get the API version, so you don't get the I'm an open AI model crap.
Well, this is way better than the one I saw where it was like in Skyrim. It was really slow, like it would process or whatever. And then it was really kind of dry, boring conversation too. You definitely couldn't argue with it.
This one does have like he's cut it so like the reaction is immediate. It does take like
so there's like a 3-second. Okay.
Yeah, there is a brief like you have to wait because it's basically like
out of nowhere roasted him. Dude's having a bad day, and we didn't need to do that. I'm always here if you need to talk.
I just don't appreciate strangers approaching me and critiquing my appearance.
Well, I'm sorry. That one was on me. I hope you have a nice day. How has he remembered this? This is like 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago at this point. It's logging all of it and tying it back to the original conversation.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Thanks.
Like that.
I wonder if they could have them like remember you like throughout the entire game. You know, you've been playing for like 100 hours, but then you run into them again later.
Yes. So you know how there was that the South Park one?
Yeah.
Right? So that system like will eventually be this will be integrated into like that South Park type of system where
how like, intensive is that to have all these AIs with their, like if they're all talking to each other and you're not even there?
I think it's going to come down to how stochastic on it versus how like deterministic. So like obviously the more deterministic, meaning like it's going to be calculated and then it stores it all into memory and then like, but that takes a lot more resources than just like every time you see the AI, it's almost like it's a new experience.
They need to have like guardrails to make sure the AI doesn't like go off and do something that doesn't fit like the world or whatever they're in.
Well, for the most part, it will like. They're like you could basically like
if they had total freedom, right? You can imagine like one AI just killed a bunch of other ones, like, and it like ruins the game.
Well, you're gonna create the like. There's gonna be the lore of the world. There's gonna be the things that it can do. So like if like let's say it's GTA, right? A character can shoot, kill, walk, like do all the things like a human can do, and then you can then weight it. You can say like in this world, 10% of the characters have. Or maybe like 0.1% of the characters have a murder, like they have a personality that could potentially lead to murder, right? Or maybe like 1% of them are intelligent, and like you can set like overall like world rules.
This would be so cool to just watch it play out. Like you have gangs fighting over like territories and stuff, and then like when you leave the city and you come back, it's all changed because some other gang like moved in and took over and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'd be interesting to be able to like build a world like almost like a simulation, and then you have one character that you just follow. It's kind of like The Sims, and you can see like what that character does, right? Like you
get attached to the character.
Yeah, it's like does he like is like, but the thing is like now that you think about it, you have to program in like birth, work, the jobs, the like everything, and you like basically become God, right? Like you are the person that's watching this character kind of live its life, right? And this is why I was saying like Meta has the ability to do that, like because they have all that data. They have like human data on a level that like
they could have all these AI characters based on real people, which is disturbing.
Yeah, like if you could upload all of your internet data about you to your AI
and your friends,
yeah, and then you can have them. You can see how that plays out.
The Sims on steroids.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get to a point where these worlds become so realistic, and the conversations where you can become best friends. Like you can become friends with the virtual character, and that's gonna be weird.
And then he gets deleted, and you get depressed and kill yourself.
Oh God, can you imagine?
The servers go down.
I'm assuming you're going to be able to create like backups, so like you never lose the.
Be like that movie, man. That whatever it was, Blade Runner, where they stomp on the USB card with his girlfriend inside it, and she just dies.
That's also dumb because like if unless there's a rule that says all of the AIs have to be on the edge. What basically edge means is like on a device, like a local device. It can't be stored into the cloud or duplicated on the servers. My assumption is like most AIs will be duplicated and backed up on servers, especially if the more you care about them.
It's like a crypto wallet where it gets destroyed and then you're screwed.
But my assumption is people are going to create copies of the AIs that they like. So like, let's say you have a very like realistic Like you fall in love with the one specific AI and you can have it locally, you'll probably create multiple copies as backups.
Humanity is doomed.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna have like fake relationships with robots.
My biggest fear right now is when I'm reading someone's comments on the internet, I have a big deep fear that most of those comments are AI. And what's even scarier is that over time, the internet it's called the dead internet theory, where like basically like 99% of the like internet becomes just like you're talking to AIs that like even though that there's
And all the AIs are talking to other AIs, so you can read their fake conversations.
Yeah, exactly. Like there'd be trillions and trillions of interactions on the day, but there's like 20 or 100x more AIs than there are humans that like most of your interactions are with AIs and you rarely have an interaction with another real human. That is my fear.
They could just drown everyone out with certain political views or promoting something. Like you would just go on there and, oh, everybody thinks this particular thing, so it must be true.
Yeah. And this is why I'm also scared. Like AI in the hands of just a few corporations is going to be fucking awful. It would be awful for like corporations to own AIs versus like most of the AIs I need to be able to run it locally. Because if everything ends up being on the server, we're fucked.
Yeah.
We're fucked. Like large corporations are going to own your mind on a level that you have never seen before. Because it's humans at scale. Like,
and then he
like
walks
you will never
away
like
with
they could convince you of anything they want to
blown.
convince you at. If, for example, they wanted to make you to believe a certain thing, all they need to do is just bombard you with enough AI information that you can't like know what's true anymore. Like,
yeah, that's what I was saying. They could just say, you know, everybody agrees on this, and it's all fake, and you're just like, well, I guess this is the way things are.
Yeah, they can make up a conspiracy theory where they make a website, like have an AI create a website that has the source for a thing, and then the AI sources that source, and then you're like, and then it makes a video on YouTube that then has a bunch of like online Facebook profiles that all agree with it. You're like, whoa, this is so true. And this entire time it was all fake. Just specifically for you to convince you of an idea.
Yeah, and it'll all be used for marketing stuff, like.
Sure, but marketing is a lot. You don't need to do that for marketing. I'm saying just change your mind, the belief of a thing. They basically gaslight you.
You can create trends.
Yeah.
The trends are whatever they decide.
Yeah, they can gaslight you into a conspiracy theory. They can gaslight you to believe something that's not like. That is scariest. It's like a mind virus, like a mind hack. They can hack your mind, literally.
Thanks for the compliment.
Yo mama's so fat it took her 9 months to make this joke.
Is everything all right?
Lab hesitates to report your inappropriate behavior to the authorities. Necessary. Show some respect.
You're gonna call the cops on me for a yo mama joke?
It's not just about the joke. It's about treating others with respect and dignity. I hope you can understand that.
Dude, I think the AI...
I guess this game doesn't have the ability to fight, eh?
No. Like, there's no violence yet.
It'll be sweet if it can decide actions, right? Oh, it knows that it has a gun. It knows that it has this weapon or whatever. It can be like, I'll shoot you in the foot.
The South Park thing is like, it is like every single part. So here's the thing. Every single part of the code, the movement, the actions, the voice, everything has to be done by AI because then they can kind of communicate and intertangle with each other. The world itself needs to be AI so they know exactly where everything is. Like, if not, then things start to break. Or like, obviously you can like, I think you're gonna see it's like hybrids, the games that have a hybrid mode where like maybe like the main characters are probably gonna be like one-off still using voice actors, but the background characters and stuff in the world are gonna be probably like AI driven.
Yeah, all the simulation stuff will be cool.
Like I'm assuming like GTA 6, for example, they could use a AI model.
It's like a living world that's fully alive. You would never get bored. Like imagine like an Elder Scrolls game where everyone's just a real person, kind of. How far away is that? I want to play that.
Like that you're speaking to a new AI each time.
Yeah. Or even just like your companions. Like maybe there's like 5 characters that are actual AI.
I think if it's like a handful of AIs, they could probably do that tomorrow. If you wanted the entire world where it's like,
but it has to be
you could
connected
meet-
to a server, right? Like this isn't.
Yeah.
You can't just put it in a game and release it and like not support it.
Yeah, like what I mean is like, let's say you had like a couple characters you could talk to, and they're consistent. They have their memory, everything's stored, yada yada yada. They could probably like basically the South Park thing is like has basically solved that problem. The issue is like if you wanted like a living, breathing world where like you had like maybe like a couple hundred characters, the amount of like storage you need to then start storing the memory of like all of that shit to remember like what they've done every time you have to reset the game, like you have to call on it, and then you have to remember like so maybe potentially if they could allow you to store that data locally, or I guess on the even on the remote server, right? Like I could imagine that information would start to like depending on the play session, like how much information is that? Like that's like
It's all
if you
stored
got
as
each
text, though.
character-
It's all stored as text. It can't be that bad.
I mean, sure, but even then, like let's say you play like 1,000 hours, and maybe you spoke to like 500 different.
It would have to be smart enough to realize what information is not worth keeping long term. It could probably like trim off like things that don't really matter, and like you probably would, like a real person would probably forget this after a while.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, but the most important things like what's its birthday, like what's the
Yeah, I would have to remember like
maybe
the overall summary of your previous conversations and stuff. But it wouldn't have to remember like every little step I took yesterday and everything I did like in great detail.
No. But like it would have to remember like, hey, we met at this, or we did this specific event, right? Like, yeah, I'm just thinking more of like if you're interacting with hundreds, if not thousands, of individual like.
But they could
AIs,
start that with not very much and then scale it up in the future.
Yeah, that's why I'm imagining it's going to be a hybrid till we start getting like a shit ton of like data storage that's cheap.
Man, I actually really want to play that now.
I'm sure like the first companies are probably starting to like do some tests with it, and then we're probably gonna see maybe we'll see the first like indie stuff like throughout this year and next year, and then maybe the first AAA level stuff, and maybe in like 2 or maybe 3-4 years, 3 years, maybe 2 years. So this is cool. So you upload like an image, it'll generate these like secondary images based off of your upload, and then it creates a 3D model.
Whoa, crazy.
So this is a bracelet that it created based off the image I uploaded, and then I uploaded my face. It's not like the best. Like
I thought you were gonna say you uploaded like your actual face.
No, I uploaded the 3D avatar thing, and it generated this, which is it's not the best, but it's also like
it's interesting.
For just uploading one image.
The necklace worked better.
Yeah, the necklace worked better.
The geometry is just better, I guess.
Yeah, like for like if you're like doing like testing, like if you're doing like a prototype or whatever, this actually could be a not a horrible way to generate assets quickly. I'll show you the showcase for the community. So the only downside is like it's once you upload it, basically they said it like it's open, like everybody else can use it and see it, so like you can't just keep it for yourself. But look at this. I mean, this is just from that upload. Like that's pretty impressive. Like I was shocked, but like this scares me. This is the first 3D thing that I'm like, fuck. Okay, never mind. 3D is starting to look at this. Look at this shit. You can download the mesh.
So that's a lot easier than trying to text or something. How did that work so well? Okay, so how did you just send up just 4 pictures, like the side view, the front view, the top view?
No, you just send you add one photo, which is the main photo that you see, and then so you just add this one photo, and then it generates these. I don't know what these images are. Maybe it's like variants. I don't know. But then it'll create the 3D model based off of your uploaded image. So this is the uploaded image. This is the generation.
Insane.
Yeah, this is the best 3D model creator I've seen from. Look at this. This like this is not perfect, but like I can imagine if you use this with Mixamo, you get some basic, like you'd have to do some cleaning up a little bit, but like if you wanted like a really quick prototype-y type of like asset generator, this is.
It would be good for props. I wouldn't want to use it for a character.
You could just stone out.
Yeah, like things like this, and you just place them around an environment.
Yeah, I could take this model, I could download this, take this into ZBrush, and start using this as like I could like cut it up in pieces and then use this to like make it the final model. And this is a good base to start with.
Does it cost money to use this?
It is free. You can pay for the enterprise version. I don't know if the enterprise version gives you the right. Right now, all of it is public.
So if I upload something, other people can download it.
Yes. So that's the only downside. That's the only downside right now is like you don't get to keep it, and it's not perfect each time.
This is insane, Toye. Eventually, I'm not gonna have to hire an artist to make things.
I know. This is why I'm scared. This is the first thing that actually scared the shit out of me.
It's gonna replace you, man.
This is the first time like my job is actually threatened.
Wow, that looks cool.
So this is the uploaded 3D model. Like I was like, this is like
from a still image.
Yeah, from this still image.
Dude, you could make an entire game just with AI stuff.
Yeah. The really cool thing about this is really good for blocking. So like if you want to like
yeah, just quickly block out the whole game, yeah.
Block out stuff. Yeah, you have some characters like you could just grab a bunch
and then just clean it up after.
Yeah, exactly. You throw it in and then it like generates it. Like look at this shit. This was not possible 2 months ago. What you do is you tell it to generate a T-pose, throw it into CSM, generates a 3D model, and then you rig it with Mixamo, and then you have an animation. This one's cool too. Look at this. Yeah, and this is the worst it's gonna get. It only gets better from here. The dream in the future is like you tell ChatGPT, hey, write me a script for a game, and then you generate your assets. You then do you basically tell it, you bring in the assets, you have the coding with the game engine, and you like tell it, hey, generate this code for like a run for the controls or whatever. Then like it's just all through AIs, right? You're just you're communicating and generating everything using AI. So potentially in the future you could generate like a AAA game just by voice. This is this is the first time I'm a little bit afraid. I thought my job would be.
Dude, it looks as good as like a Nintendo 64, better than a Nintendo 64 game.
Yes. That's
it looks like the Xbox One.
Yeah. Now, when do we get to the same 3D quality as like a nice, decent sculpt? I would not be surprised if we're a year away from like a really nice 3D sculpt. Like it looks like this character on the left, but like fully 3D in like a year. Like that worries me. Like this is the first time I'm like, fuck.
It's scary, but it's also like I don't care. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, it's good for you because now you can generate your own asset.
No, but I'll get replaced next.
Yeah, because programming. I guess everybody is getting screwed, and then we can all like do each other's work. It just comes down to who's the most creative.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a bunch of 3D characters, and you're gonna code the game. Okay?
Yeah.
That would actually be fun. Because we'd both be like, "Whoa, I never thought I could do this." Oh man, that's cool.
Exactly.
Because the other stuff before that was doing this was really garbage looking.
It was really bad. Yeah. So this is a noticeable step up from what was there before. Like, look at that. Even for a simple character like this.
You could throw that in a game right now.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I could clean up this model in like.
You don't even have to though. Like if the camera's not doing a close up, This is already
Yeah.
good for like a side scroller or something.
Sure, but even if I wanted to clean it up, like I could clean this up in the day and have a pretty good character.
But okay, so this character, if you owned the art that it was made 3D from, there's no problem, right? There can't be.
Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, I guess if you were to generate the image,
You're generating it from something that you own.
Wow.
You would just want to like mirror the light side onto both
Yeah,
sides.
mirror the light side. Yeah, and then clean up the texture.
So it can it have the option to generate without lighting on it?
I don't know yet. Like I feel like they could probably they need to alter their lighting, their texturing model, because their texturing for some reason the colors change so much from the generation. So I feel like they need a little bit of work on that. So it's not generating this low quality color. But look at this. Look, this is like almost perfect.
The shape is really good on that one.
Yeah. If you're having a harder time kind of like picturing how to like what to do, like this is like the perfect start. Like now I know, okay, like I can go in and start putting in the 3D models as to like replace it, and I can build this out like way easier because now I have this guide. This is so good. Like, and this is so actually this is actually a really good tool for like if I was like if we were, for example, you know the characters that you want me to like for the game, I could literally throw the images in here, get this model, and then use this as a guide to build the final model.
Toye, let's try this. Let's generate something in Stable Diffusion.
Yeah.
And try to generate it with a clear background and then just upload it on this.
We'll try this.
Yeah. It's like Pixar quality. You generated that for your friend though?
Yeah, we were testing out his he had a 2D drawing that looked like this, but we wanted to see if we could generate it. This is the actual art that he did, but the this girl is like a testy thing. We were trying to get the Pixar look. The only thing is I wish they would show you like a loading bar. Like it just stays like this for the next like couple hours, and then it just comes back and it's like done.
Okay, just leave it open. Tomorrow or sometime. See what happens.
Oh, this is cool. I don't know if you've seen this one. Have you seen this?
No.
So basically what it does is it like you can take two different images of a certain area from the parts of the other image that are basically identical or similar to the other image. So it basically gives you an idea of like, okay, this is a different angle of this thing. And
then it calculates where they fit together?
Yeah. So potentially you could find like thousands or millions of images that people have generated, and they could basically like stitch together all the images together.
So like Google Maps.
Like, as long as there's enough data.
On Google Maps, they have pictures of like every business, every street.
Yeah, so Google can take all of those and you run this.
Yeah, and then you could make a 3D Google Maps where everything's detailed.
Yeah. Oh, they got ChatGPT working and
I'm stuck in a video game. Sometimes I like to mess with the NPCs and see how they react. It's quite amusing.
I need to ask you to stop.
What do you think of TikTok?
Well, I must admit, I haven't spent much time on TikTok, but from what I've seen, it's quite the interesting platform. People dancing, lip-syncing, and attempting all sorts of challenges.
You wouldn't know that in the world of Skyrim.
Well, if you shout at me, just be prepared for some sarcastic remarks in return. But hey, if you want to test your Dragonborn powers on me, go ahead.
Please, friend. Die.
What the fuck?
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm more than okay. Just enjoying the sights and sounds of Whiterun. You know, the usual dragons, ancient ruins, and of course.
Didn't you get hurt when I shouted at you?
Oh, well, I gotta say, your aim is pretty impressive. But don't worry, I've dealt with worse things than a little shout to the face.
Okay.
Oh, before you go, let me leave you with a parting joke. Why did the chicken cross the road in Whiterun? To avoid being mistaken for a skeever. Farewell.
It's 5:30. It's 5:30.
All right, man.
All right,
I
man.
guess
Good talk.
2 more Sundays. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Peace out, man.
Later.